You asked her dad for his blessing.
Yeah.
And he said no.
Wow, this is a deep cut.
Yeah, what happened?
You did some good research.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So Mel's father is a maestro in Korea. He's like a conductor of an orchestra. Amazing, brilliant man. Very fiery, as you can imagine. And the day that I asked for permission was actually her cousin's wedding. So Mel was gone. She was like with the wedding party the whole time. He and I had grabbed lunch earlier. And long story short, there was like a series of events that like went terribly wrong that like did not go the way I had planned. Because I like, you know, growing up, I was always like the kid that like parents were like, oh, he's such a nice kid. Like he'll be, you know, so I was just like not super concerned. I was just like practicing my lines in Korean. I wanted to like ask properly. We ended up showing up to a lunch that the entire family was supposed to be a part of, but everyone else had to drop out except for the parents. So I was like, oh, this is my time. But I ended up being there like in a t-shirt and shorts. And when I asked, her father was like, no, you're obviously not taking this seriously. Like, why are you dressed this way? You should be in a suit. If you're going to ask me for my permission, it should be way more formal. So that was like the start of a terrible day. Later, what happens is we decide that we're going to go to the wedding together from the hotel. I run down my suit super early. I'm like 10 minutes early. As soon as I sit down, I have like a small tear in my pants. I'm like, shit, he's going to be the one type of person who will see it and be like, dude, this guy's a scrub. Like, what's going on? So I run to the front desk. I was like, hey, do you have a sewing kit? They're like, yeah, we do. I'm like, perfect. Run to the bathroom. I'm starting to like sew it up. Get a call in my room. They're like, where are you? I look at the clock. I'm like 3 minutes late. I'm like, shoot. Come back down. Get in the car. He's like, why are you late? Clearly, you're irresponsible.
He said that to you?
You're lazy. I don't like you for my daughter. Yeah. And I was like, sorry, I forgot my card. He goes, no, that's not acceptable. Get out of my car.
No.
And I was like, no, sorry. And then I said, okay, the truth is I had this tear in my pants. So I was like, all right, fine. So we're going. Driving. Mom's in the back seat. I'm in the front seat. You know, I'm like navigating for him. New Jersey highways, it's like very rural.
Was your girlfriend? Your girlfriend was not in the car.
No, she was at the wedding. Okay. Slowly, he's getting more and more angry. He's kind of saying like, "Oh, in my family, this is not okay. I don't like you. Blah blah blah. Like this, and this reason. You showed up to lunch like super underdressed, and you like are late. I don't like this." And it got to the point that I started getting really upset because I just felt like I was getting berated. So I very calmly said, "I totally understand. I'm so sorry, but in my family, like we don't talk to each other this way." And when I said that, opened the door, he kicked me out, left me on the side of the highway and left me. Yeah.
Are you serious?
So I ended up Ubering to the wedding. That became a whole thing, right? Because then it was like, I was like preparing to get the ring. I knew how I wanted to ask Mel to get married, but it kind of caused like a good series of conversations with myself and with her, first of all, about like, if we're to be in a family, what are we going to be like? You know, ask a lot of difficult questions, me talking with my parents, her talking with her parents. Eventually I said, you know what, I'm going to ask her. And lo and behold, like her dad has come around like twofold and is amazing. And is like, was so happy.
So what was the conversation you had with your girlfriend at the time? Did you tell her about these conversations? Be like,
yeah, she knew.
Did. Yeah. Oh, she knew about it. Did he tell her?
She didn't put it past her
she
dad?
found afterward. No, in fact, she was like, oh, he's an incredible person, but he's very, I would say like he's pretty idiosyncratic, like his personality type. So every time she would tell me about him, I didn't really understand. But then I experienced it myself, and it actually gave me a tremendous amount of empathy for like her and what her upbringing was. So in a lot of ways, I think it was like very positive, actually, in retrospect.
Okay. Was she okay getting married without her dad's permission, or did you wait then until you got her dad's permission and then you proposed?
You know, once I proposed and she said yes, her dad was like, "Oh, I'm so excited." And at the wedding, his speech was the best because he essentially says, you know, all this time, this is my only daughter. It's their only child. Yeah. This is a series of tests that I wanted to put you through. And Jason, you've won, is what he said at the end of his speech.
Do you think they were tests?
He's just improvising.
It sounds like you're a little...
I mean, he's awesome now. So we get along really well. I'll tell you, the first time I met him, this was far before the lunch. I meet him and he's like, "Hey, I'm a big soccer fan. Are you a big soccer fan?" I go, "Oh, you know, I watch, but I don't really play." He goes, "Let's go to the field and we'll like play some soccer." I go, "Oh, cool." like just the two of us? He goes, yeah. He shows up. He's got cleats on. He's got like goalie gloves. I go, oh, we're going to play soccer. He goes, yeah. And he goes, we're going to do a series of penalty kicks. And if I beat you, you can't date my daughter anymore.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh my God. You know, this guy, he's like pulling out. He's prepared. So, and Mel was there. She's just laughing. She thinks it's hilarious. I get down 4-1 in the series. So we're doing the 5. I'm down 4-1. I'm like, crap. Like if I lose 5-1, I'm like, this is bad. I came back 4-4. He ends up beating me 5-4, but he's like, you know what? I see a lot of resilience in you. Good job. You can still keep dating. Like this is obviously a joke.
Could be a good test though if you make it so unbearable for the boyfriend that if he leaves, you know he's not one to stick around.
Yeah.
But if he does it anyway and he perseveres, then he's someone who will work through those issues.
If you have a daughter, would you put her
I don't know how
future boyfriend through any tests?
I don't know how I would be. I always
What's your
joke.
credit score? That's what you'd ask.
I would always joke
What's
about
your
like,
career plan?
I'd like to think that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how,
How
I'd
much
be
have
like
you
in the
saved?
moment.
What percentage of your income are you saving?
I feel like I would play a lot of jokes.
Yeah.
You know,
No, you
just like
certainly
make it
would,
just like
100%.
unbearable.
The credit
Yeah.
card
Yeah.
like statement would come up. Like,
Yeah.
I see you're spending $7 on coffee a day. How much do you think it would cost you to make your own coffee?
That's funny.
Yeah.